Oh, my lord, that's a lot of falconets. Hey YouTube, it's your boy Widgie here, coming at you with some more Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. And I got another casted game for you today, and this one is focusing on the Swedes and a unit that we haven't seen in a while, especially being showcased in certain strategy. So I hope you guys are really looking forward to this. You might be able to guess what unit it is. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to leave it as a surprise. I have no idea of the outcome of this game either, so let's strap ourselves in and see what's happening here. So these players here are around 1600 elo, so definitely above average players. So hopefully a lot of you guys can learn something as well from these casted games. And let's introduce the two players. So on the left hand side of the map here we have an Asian opponent here. I don't know what we're going to call him. Should we call him, I don't know, should we call him I don't know, the Swedish player. Let's call him the Swedish player. We're not too sure. So the Swedish player here is going to be opening up with a couple of torps. Very, very standard. Let's have a look over to the right-hand side. We have Abden here. So Abden playing as the French in the cyan on the right-hand side. Now, this map is quite nice for rushing and stuff like that because you are relatively close to each other because you're kind of squashed on the corner of the map here. So the distance between you two is actually relatively short. So it offers quite a lot of H2 pressure. And that's quite good for Swedes because the Swedish are really incapable of fast fortressing, to be honest. They're kind of a civ that need to get their torps out on the map. They need to get their Rico going. So the best you're probably going to see from Swedes is a semi-fast fortress, but normally it takes a little bit longer to get in Age 3 for them because they like to get their economy online. So let's have a look at the Swedish player here. We're just going to wait for the deck to come up. And yeah, hopefully you are enjoying the last sort of low elo Legends games that I've been putting on the channel and also the other casted games. I haven't been posting stuff as regularly. There's been a lot going on like in my personal life with work and stuff like that. And also, I've just been sort of interested in other games, and obviously I haven't been showcasing those on the channel or anything like that. So apologies for the slow uploads coming onto the channel, but hopefully you're going to find this one pretty darn enjoyable. So we do see 3 settlers coming in now for the Swedish player. Let's just have a quick look and look at the deck here. So a few interesting cards already. We do see this one right here, March of the Hakkapelits. There we go, there's a hint maybe, which increases the movement speed and enables them to be trained in the Commerce Age. That's quite a big one. We do also see 5 Hakkapelits in Age 3, along with Trample Tactics as well for them as well. So lots of stuff for the Hakkapelits, as well as the Finn horses here in Age 4, which gets you 15% HP. So something to bear in mind there. Let's have a quick look over at Abden here, playing as the French, a very, very sort of, you could say vanilla civ. Beginner-friendly civ. They play as close to a standard kind of RTS kind of faction or civilization as possible. Let's have a look at Abden's here. We do have Land Jaeger, which is very, very interesting. We do see the Ancien Regime here, which is the Bourbon kind of opening, which is, you could call it a bit of a cheese. It's where you basically get Royal Musketeers in Age 2. And it can be pretty devastating to try and deal with. So let's see what Abden is actually going to do here. Something interesting as well, we do obviously see the Royal Fencing School, which gets those Royal Musketeers again. The Irish Brigadiers as well in Age 2. And a lot actually in Age 4 here. We've got Bourbon Allies as well. More Royal Musketeers. So let's see how this is going to go. Let's just quickly see. Abden just on the age up now. Going to be going for the Quartermaster. Pretty standard. Opening up with a market. Getting those techs in. Pretty standard. And it's probably going to be macroing for the Steel Traps, which is the second food upgrade. So Swedish player here is a little bit ahead and is aging up with the Governor. So 200 gold and an outpost. I like to always say what the age up does because I never know what kind of people are watching the video. And a lot of people have said in the comments on previous videos that the kind of stuff and how I explain it is really helpful for them if they're trying to improve at the game. So I kind of just mention everything and try and understand and justify what these players are doing and why. I try and explain their decisions, what they're doing, and maybe some potential constructive advice and feedback depending on the level of the player, obviously. So Swedish player outpost is coming in, and of course the standard for Dominions. So the Dominions is a very, very standard card. Pretty much always the first card you want to go for as Swedes. Gets you 4 torps and also increases the hit points of them as well. So interestingly, what are we seeing here already, ladies and gents? It is a stable opening, something very unheard of with Swedes. Normally you'll see either a barracks, double barracks. You might see a barracks and a foundry if you have the card. And I don't believe this player does. That basically gets you a leather cannon and also gets you the artillery foundry. Normally that's what you kind of see. But immediately what we're seeing, we are seeing hussars coming in, which is a refreshing thing to see because a lot of people don't really sort of swear by using hussars with Sweden, which I don't really understand because Husk Musk is quite a potent combination, and Swedish players don't ever really seem to utilize it too much. They tend to just go, you know, Karolians with some leather cannons, and then in age 3 they might get Jaegers out, they might get further sort of leather cannons and Falcons and kind of just roll with Karolians most of the time. So it is interesting to see and it's refreshing to see. And we're going to see those hussars in action now. There you go, 4 have just popped out. And we do see the Engelsberg Ironworks. So once again, as I mentioned about Eco, we're going to be seeing the gather rate of torps doubling on coin, which is going to be big for hussars, especially if you need to get them out. Now let's have a look at the scouting here. So the Swedish player done a great job with scouting, nearly got all of the map. And he's going to be able to deal with this Mongol scout here, taking that down. Very, very nice. And we can see now also getting Gangsaw in as well. And an interesting thing with Swedes, most of the time, you don't really want any units gathering coin. Especially like very early on in age 2. Because your torps should handle it all for you. You know, you should be chopping wood to build more torps. The torps should be carrying the legwork here, and we can see Abden here going to be putting a little bit of pressure on the torps. Hussars are going to try and dip in here, see what they can do. Might need to micro these a little bit. I do like that micro pulling back out there. Very, very nice. Looks like the Explorer is going to go down. There we go. Hussars are not going to be the best to trade here with Musketeers, so needs to be careful, but, you know, our Swedish player here is going to be getting further hussars out onto the field. Let's have a quick look at Abden. Just got the 700 coin in. This is a classic 10 Musk semi-FF here, ladies and gents. Clear, crisp, as you like. We saw that there was the 700 wood, and now the 700 coin has come in. Sometimes you don't have to go 700 wood. Sometimes you can go for CDB 700 coin and then 700 wood. But we saw it round the other way, I believe. And now he is ready to age up. So very, very crisp opening. One of the many ways you can open up with the French. They are super versatile. And I would say the 10 Musk is probably the easiest one to do. Oh, we are seeing a few pike here actually coming out. I think he must have trained a few pike there. Or got them from treasures, I'm not too sure. But managing to hold the torps on the north side there for now. Only 11 torps, so a little bit low on the torp side. Is going to be getting in steel traps now and continuing with hussar production. There is no stop for this Swedish player. He's just going to keep making those hussar. Now let's have a look at Abden here. Is now getting 1,000 wood in, so being very, very greedy here. Probably going to be dropping a TC, I would imagine. We do see a house and a TP all the way on the north side there, and unfortunately losing a CDB there, which is kind of big. And oh, a second CDB as well from the multiple hussar raiding here from different angles, and actually forced a militiaman pop, which is really nice for the Swedish player. That's always a lovely thing to see when you're raiding and you see this immediate pop of militia and then you back off. It's such a great feeling because your opponent has got no value really from those militiamen. So that's nice to see there. Now, it looks like the Swedish player here is actually going to be aging up now. So kind of going for, you could say, a semi-fast fortress. Opening up with hussar and then immediately no need to ship the coin because the torps are gathering quite a lot of it, and quite a few vills are actually on it as well to make sure that happens. And now the hussar here are going to get in a little bit of a sticky situation, but managing to get out relatively unscathed. And what do we see here, ladies and gents? We do see Hakkapelits. The March of the Hakkapelits card has come out, ladies and gents. So I don't know. I mean, it does increase the movement speed of them, But the main thing is it enables recruitment in Age 2, but obviously the player is now pretty much getting into Age 3. So I don't know how useful that card really was, or whether it still is useful, having that extra movement speed there. It is quite minimal. We can see now it's 7.4 movement speed as opposed to 7.25. So not huge, but now we do see trample tactics coming in, which you can see here adds a trample attack rate of fire and also increases Hakkapelit HP by 15%, as well as Hussars as well. So are we going to be seeing mass cav here from the Swedes? Not just Hakkapelits, but also Hussars as well. I think we used to see this kind of strat before Hakkapelits were adjusted. This is not a good idea, though, leaving Vils this far out. He's definitely going to be losing a few here. This is going to be a crucial raid here for Abden. Very, very nice. Going to be able to definitely get 3 villagers there, which is kind of huge. And we can see the score gap here is quite significant. So Abden here doing a pretty good job. Now going to be starting to train some skirms and just continue with that pressure. You can see here, looking at the torps, that is quite aggressive torps here, really on Abden's side of the map, rather than going for maybe a torp here or a torp here. We are now seeing some torps being built there, which is a better idea. So unfortunately, yes, it looks like it's going to be losing those 2 torps here. However, in the main base, Hakkapelits and Hussars are coming in, going to be clearing up the Dragoons. They are not going to be any match for the Hakkapelits with the high HP, but they are actually getting out of there. Because there's a few sort of reinforcing skirms here, so he's going to be a little bit cautious and back out. And, yeah, those 2 torps have now gone down. So the Swedish player going to be going now for 5 Hakkapelits and just continuing with the Hakkapelit production. We only see 1 stables out here at the moment, which is interesting. I don't know what the next plan is here for him. It could maybe be ranged cavalry combat to get even more buffs for the Hakkapelit. Also, Snaplock, remember, doesn't just apply to Carolians. Also applies to Hakkapelits range as well. It only adds... It adds just extra 1 range of sight, I believe, which isn't actually huge. Is that right? Have I read that correctly? I think I have. But look at this, 25 Hakkapelits now on the field. Very, very fast moving units. Going to be able to easily contest with the Dragoons here. And yeah, a couple of them now going down. So is it back, ladies and gents? Is the Hakkapelit Scourge back on the table? And the Hakkapelit's now going on the south side, going to try and dip in and do some raiding here. This is going to be a real problem for Abden because the Hakkapelit speed has also been increased. And now because there's such an insane mass, it's going to be problematic. We're going to see some CDBs here probably. Going to be going down quite a lot and getting fired there. 1 volley, 2nd volley, 1 CDB going down. Is the 2nd one going to go down? Yes, it does. And now the skirms here are going to have to try and do as much as they can in this situation. We do see a couple of Falks, which is the worst thing right now for Abden. He did ship the Falks. I don't know about that decision, especially when we're seeing so much cav on the map. Probably would have been better to go for Jaegers. I think that's probably going to be his next plan here. He is going to be losing a few more CDBs here, unless the skirms can get there. There's a lot of skirms, though. There is a lot of skirms, 45 of them. That is too much for the Swedish player to deal with here. So they're definitely going to have to get some hus. Oh, that's the wrong way to move, though. That is the wrong way to move. And Abden's going to be able to get a few more shots off as well. But this is actually really bad. What is Abden doing? Oh, wow. He didn't commit to that. He could have probably nabbed those Falks. Probably would have been worth it there, to be honest. But he hasn't done it. Let's just have a quick look back now at the Swedish play. Yes, he is going for the cavalry, the ranged cavalry combat. He's on 18 torps. Looking pretty good. Still only has 1 stable, which I'm very surprised about, to be honest with you. I think a good thing. Oh, he hasn't got. You get Jaegers with Swedes, right? I think Jaegers would be good. Jaeger Hakkapelit. It's basically, if it's possible, I'm pretty sure it is, right? It's got to be. And now the Hakkapelits are going to try and brute force these skirms in base, but it's still going to be tricky. And also, there has been a nerf to the hand attack for the Hakkapelit as well. They do have 29 hand attack. That might actually be a better choice than actually just firing with a ranged attack, to be honest, but I can't be sure. They do have the trample attack as well, the upgrade as well for that, so maybe going into melee is probably better, but there is a bunch of musketeers still. But I think Abden's just... Oh my god, Abden's going for some Haubs now, which is actually going to be really good as a frontliner. And I think Abden might need to actually just force this by just pushing into his base. Otherwise, he's going to have to keep going backwards and forwards, which is really not ideal. You're not getting any value from your troops going backwards and forwards, chasing these Hakkapelits. You know, so, I don't know, maybe just trying to use some of his units to try and push the main base. Great nab here. Abden leaving his falconets unattended, which is going to be a nice pickup for the Swedish player there. I really, really like that. And yeah, this movement speed is a real pain. The 7.4 movement speed. It's going to be able to outrun normal Dragoons as well. So really hard to get them nailed down. CDBs here. This is really annoying because, 32 vills for Abden, 35 for the Swedish player. So he has more villagers and he also has torps. So overall, I think his economy is vastly better at the moment. We do see a lot of coin being mined, and I think that is definitely for the Jaegers. They might have to be the next answer here to try and deal with these Hakkapelits. But this is the problem, I think, the continual chasing around. We are going to get a nice pick-off here, though. Very, very close. Fire, fire. Look at that. 3 Hakkapelits going down, and 2 more as well. So that's 5 in just 2 volleys there from Abden. Which is, yeah, not good. But this is just pure Hakkapelit, ladies and gents. Cute strategy. Cute strategy. Just being annoying as hell. Well, he appreciates it at least. I think he appreciates it. That the Swedish player here is being annoying. I like the cute strategy. I do love that comment. That's absolutely great. Cute strategy. There's so much passive aggressiveness in that comment, isn't there? Cute strategy, like... It's nice, but it's not going to win you the game. That's how I hear it, which is great. But, I mean, he is being a real nuisance, though. Going to also sort of scare off the CDB from the hunts here on the west side. And he's going to be losing a couple, potentially. So, yeah, really keeping Abden in his base. And this is the thing, like, it's forcing Abden to... He has to push the Swedes' base. He has to end the Swedes and force the Hakkapelits to engage his units. Otherwise, he's just going to keep going backwards and forwards. So he needs to do something. He has split his army up, which I like. Majority of the skirms, pretty much all the skirms are on the north side. And now we have a sort of a mini... Sort of... Oh, that's really nice, actually. This is going to be problematic. All these Falks here now, actually, for Abden here. And looks like, hang on a minute, has he even spotted this? There's so many vills here. He's going to have to come back. The halberdiers here going to engage, get the snare on the villagers, and hopefully we're going to see a few pickoffs. Yeah, a couple of vills going down. Nice to see. Going to have a main sort of battle on the north side here. And these Falcons are going to start to unravel. Here we go. Ooh, going to get some good volleys off here. Skirms. That is the worst thing, by the way, is doing that kind of formation. If you do the stagger formation with too many units, they all bunch up, as we can see here. So he needs to split them up a little bit. Skirms should be able to easily deal with this. But the Falks are an impending threat here for Abden. Abden, on the other hand, whilst doing this, is also pushing into the middle of the base and absolutely tearing some stuff up there. Lost a lot of vills now, only on 28, Abden on 34. So I like that distraction. Unfortunately, the Swedish player unable to multitask effectively there. And these falconets, they can't get a lock on. He's doing a great job with sort of shooting and moving. Shoot, move, shoot, move. He is unfortunately going to get the snare on, and that means 4 volleys from the falconets. Going to be clearing up a lot of those skirms, and now they're in a real sticky situation. I don't know why the Swedish player didn't do this earlier and go into melee, because it really helps the falconets here. And this is causing a bit of a problem here. However, we are going to see reinforcing armies coming in now. A lot of halberdiers. But there isn't anything to deal with these falcons. He's going to need Colves, and that is exactly what he is doing now. 4 Colves on the way. That's going to definitely do it, I think. That's going to sort this out nice and easy. Just doesn't want to lose them like when they're on their own or anything crazy like that. So he's got counters. He's got stuff to deal with it. He's fine. He's got 1,000 coin coming in. He's managing to actually keep on hunts at the moment. I would really recommend an outpost or something to try and just keep his CDB like protected, because yeah, I mean he's got them on berries at the moment. He could push out. He could just drop an outpost and push out and try and get some hunts, because yeah, he is struggling here. Swedish player now continuing. Oh my lord, there's 4 more falconets. We're going to have 8 falconets on top of 2. Oh my days, we're going to be seeing 10 falconets. That is actually a lot, isn't it? I mean, that is a lot. This is going to be the last kind of push for the Swedish player here. If he loses all of his falcons, it's pretty much game over. So, but that is actually insane that he's managed to gather this much coin. If we put that into perspective, that's 1,600 coin for those 4 extra falcons. And look at them all, 10 falconets. We're going to see the score jumping here. Watch the Swedish players score. The next tick. Oh, it's not as much as I thought. It's not as much as I thought. The Colves are going to be a problem for the Swedish player, though. But hopefully, because there's so many falcons, they might be able to just brute force it and just take out the culverins. So there's a lot on Abden here to really micro effectively. He needs to keep the Colves out of range of the falconets and not lose them. And he should be okay, but that is a scary amount of falconets. That really, really is. That is absolutely insane. Eco has really taken a nosedive, and we're finally seeing some barracks for the first time being built by the Swedish player here. 21 minutes into the game, we're seeing some barracks going down. I'm not too sure whether that means, obviously, Corollians. I guess it does. But now, look at all these falcons, ladies and gents. That is a lot of falcons. Oh, my. That is a lot there. And, yes, more CDBs are going to be going down. Which is really a lot of CDBs going down. He's just going to surrender them. They're so close to the TC. I don't know whether Abden had his mind on something else on the map there, but that is a lot of CDBs to lose. Abden only on 30 villagers, 29 for the Swedish player. Could this be the game changer, though? We do see... Oh, my God, the TC went down. Yeah, there's nowhere else to get a shipment from. He had the Jaegers. The Jaegers were coming in. That could have been a game changer. 2 falconets coming in to reinforce the other 4. We've got 6 culverins versus 10 falconets. I think the Colves could do it, but they definitely don't want to be too close here, because the Hakkapelits are going to try and shoot them down. Can the Colves do something here? Because, oh my lord, that's a lot of falconets. Hot damn, that is a lot. There's so many volleys of them. Can the Colves clear it up? Look at the area effect damage from the Colves, taking so many falconets out. Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord. What? Wow. Oh, my God. Abden with the BMGG. He comes in GGing. GGing the other player. I don't know about that, Abden. I know that was fantastic for you, but we had the BM there. Probably getting very annoyed with the strategy from the Swedish player, but oh my God, have you ever seen anything so delicious in your life? 10 falconets getting wiped out within the space of a few seconds. Absolutely insane. Wow, wow, wow. We love to see that 100%. And yeah, 6 Colves versus 10 falcons. All I can say is definitely the 6 Colves win. And I think it was also down to just some micro from the Swedish player. But to be honest, there wasn't anything to deal with these skirms. And even though the falcons did some good damage and wiped out the majority of the halberdiers, the Colves, they couldn't get to the Colves. So the Colves just cleaned up the falcons. And that was GG. But it was looking pretty sketchy for him. He lost his TC, had nowhere to ship his next shipment, lost a lot of villagers as well, only on 28, Swedish player on 30. So if he didn't correctly deal with this battle, he would have definitely been out 100%. But GG, well played to both players. That is kind of crazy. What do you think about this Swedish strategy? Do you think something could be done a little bit around it? Do you think Hakkapelits are back? especially maybe with Huss as well as like an age 2 kind of pressure? Do you think it's possible rather than going for the standard like Carolean, Leather Cannon? Is it something that could happen? I'm not too sure. Let's have a look quickly at the post-game analysis here. We can see Eco slightly up for the Swedish player overall, doing a good job, and just unfortunately not making that connection with the Hakkapelits. Maybe not solely pushing with Hakkapelits as much as we saw here. Might have done something a little bit different for the Swedish player. Maybe if he pivoted a little bit with his strats. Who knows? Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about it. And of course, I will catch you in the next video or the next stream. Catch you later, guys. Bye.